Good day, sir. We're the Group 3. Today, we're going to report about the international human rights. What is human rights? Human rights refers to the concept of human beings as having universal natural rights or status regardless of legal jurisdiction or other localizing such as ethnicity, nationality, and sex. Human rights are universal and it can apply to everyone worldwide, and this concept emphasizes that every individual has inherent dignity and worth, and these rights protect their freedom, equality, and well-being. Human rights are set of standards that guarantee a life befitting a rational human being. Next, human rights are basic minimum standards without which people can't live in dignity. Third, human rights guarantees the development and wholeness of our being. Fourth, human rights are the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. And lastly, human rights must be appropriate and adequate to the basic needs of the people. Human rights can be classified as civil rights pertains to rights belonging to a person by reason of citizenship. And the example of civil rights are right to a name, right to a freedom from discrimination, right to equality before the law, right to public trial, right to marry, right to leave a country. And second, political rights enables the people to participate in running or influencing the administration of the government. An example of political rights are right to vote, right to freedom of expression, right to free and periodic elections, and etc.
Next, the economic rights. Economic rights pertains to access to resources such as land, labor, physical, and financial capital that are essential for the creation, legal appropriation, and market exchange of goods and services. Next, social rights relates to living together or enjoying life in communities or organized groups. Next, cultural rights ensures the well-being of the individual and foster the preservation, enrichment, and dynamic evolution of arts, manners, and the way of living of a group with principles of unity and in diversity of expressions. Human rights education. The human rights the human right to free a compulsory elementary education and to readily available forms of secondary and higher education, the human right to freedom from discrimination in all areas and levels of education, and to equal access to continuing educational and vocational training, the human rights to information about health, nutrition, reproduction, and family planning.
So, next is the environment and human rights. So, what is the environment and human rights? All people should have the right to generally satisfactory environment or favorable to their development. So, according to Article 24 of the of the African Human and People Rights. So, the state shall protect and advance the right of the people to balance and helpful ecology in accord with the rhythm and harmony of the natures. It is according to Article 2, Section 16 or 1987 on Philippine Constitution.
Peace and conflict transformation. Simple definition of peace is absence of war, absence of terrorism, or absence of direct or physical violence, domestic violence, child abuse, sexual harassment, and etc. Broader definition of peace seen as a state and process of well-being and security in which human rights are respected and basic human needs are met. Defined holistically and seen not only the absence of direct or physical violence but also of indirect structural violence, racism, sexism or gender biases, human rights violation, poverty, ecological imbalance, and etc.
Next is the what is Akipusa. Next is hatong pa na yun. What is conflict transformation? Conflict transformation describes the fact that conflict changes things and it transforms relationships. It prescribes the need for us to be aware of our conception of conflict, transform it, and eventually manifest this transformation in our behavior and attitude. Relationship is the focus of conflict transformation, changing it from one competition to one cooperation. Because relationship is the maka-affect sa tao. Firearms control. Small arms and light weapons refers to weapons that can be carried by a single person, either for military or civilian use. The term is often shortened to small arms and light weapons. It covers a wide range of weapons, pistols, machine guns, and other firearms to grenades, portable anti-tank systems, and mortars.
Muna ni, ito na. How firearms how firearms affect human rights. Small arms are weapons of mass destruction, killing hundreds of thousands of people around the world each year. That's far higher than the casualty count from conventional weapons of war like tanks, bomber, jets, or warships. These lethal weapons are relatively cheap, highly portable, easily concealable, long-lasting, and so easy to operate that a child as young as 8 years old can carry and use themselves. This characteristic makes small arms particularly is easy to traffic illegally and to use in violations of human rights. They are often sold illegally in exchange for hard currency of goods such as diamonds, drugs, or other contraband. Millions of these weapons, in fact, the majority are owned by civilians. Next is violence against women. This refers to any trait or actual act and behavior puts at risk, and result in harm and suffering to the life, body, mind, dignity, and freedom of women. Is rooted in the unequal status of women and men in society. Systematically occurs in private and public life. Next, physical, emotional, financial, and sexual abuse. On December 10, 1984, the General Assembly of the United Nations adopted and proclaimed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Following this historic act, the Assembly called upon all member countries to publicize the text of the declaration and to cause it to be disseminated, displayed, read, and expounded principally in schools and other educational institutions without distinction based on the political status of countries or territories.
Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or UDHR, article. Right to equality, freedom from discrimination, right to life, liberty, personal security, freedom from slavery, freedom from torture and degrading treatment, right to recognition as a person before the law, right to equality before the law, right to remedy by competent tribunal, freedom from arbitrary arrest and exile, right to fair public hearing, right to be considered innocent until proven guilty, freedom from interference with privacy, family, home, and correspondence, right to free movement in and out of the country, right to asylum in other countries from persecution, right to nationality and the freedom to change it, right to marriage and family, right to own property, freedom of belief and religion, freedom of opinion and information, right to peaceful assembly and association. So that's all, sir, and a good day. Thank you.